Hello and welcome back to Art Masters with me, Mrs. Portilla. Today we will be working on the African American legacy. So we're going to be working on a group of art. So as you can see behind me, and hopefully on the slideshow earlier, you can see that there is kind of an abstract element to all of the African American legacy art. There's a lot of repeated shapes and patterns like triangles and circles. And some things are a little bit distorted, like maybe the face is a little bit longer than it should be. Things don't look as real. And of course, there's always big, bright, and bold colors. So today we'll be working on the African American legacy motif, which will just be a theme or subject matter. So you guys will be working on simplified animals like an elephant or a giraffe, and we'll be doing some African American legacy designs. This was a very popular design, lots of different patterns, and they all had meanings, although some of those meanings got lost. So that's what we'll be working on today, is we'll be doing some simplified African animals. But instead of making them look realistic, we will be adding patterns and designs and bright colors. So go ahead and get your supplies and we will get started. We are going to do our simplified African animals with the African designs with our oil pastels. So first, to make our drawing a little bit easier, we're going to fold our paper into fours. So the way we're going to do that, you're going to watch and then you could do it. So I'm going to take my square paper, fold it down, and pinch, pinch, pinch. Keeping it like this, I'm going to take it. It's a little harder this time because it's thicker. Over and pinch, pinch, pinch. Now we have a smaller square. So now we're going to open it up. And what this does is it kind of gives us a nice little template of 4, which makes drawing a little bit easier. So go ahead and fold your paper and then come back and we will start our drawing. So once you have your paper folded, I'm going to show you how to do our animals. So today we're going to be doing a giraffe or an elephant. I'm going to show you how to do each one and then you can decide which one you want to do. So the first one I'm going to show you is the giraffe, and this is very simplified shapes, triangles, squares, rectangles, very simple. So I'm going to grab a nice bright color that you can see. Let's do yellow for the giraffe. You could choose any other bright color. We're using our oil pastels. And I'm going to draw my giraffe. So I'm going to simplify this for you by following the sheet, which I can post. So the first thing I'm going to do is in my upper corner up here, my upper left corner, I'm going to draw a triangle for my giraffe's head. So this isn't realistic art, this is abstract art. So triangle heads are perfect. Then I'm going to draw a nice big square right over this bottom square. So watch first so it makes sense and then you get to do it. Okay, so I'm going to go over like this, and now I'm starting to get a shape. So now I'm going to add a little bit of detail so this will start to look like a giraffe and not just a square and a triangle. So inside my giraffe's body, I'm going to draw a diagonal line. I'm going to go over with a straight line and then back down. This kind of looks like a flattened pyramid, right? Kind of like a triangle minus the top. Then I'm going to add a neck. I'm going to connect my triangle head to my body. So I'm going to start at the head. I'm going to do a diagonal line down to the body. And another one that's parallel to it, going the same direction. Then I'm going to add some triangle ears. So that is our giraffe. The next one I'm going to show you is the elephant. So for the elephant, we have our paper folded in 4, our bright pastel color. Again, we're just starting with simple shapes. So I'm going to start with a square, and I'm going to do it above my halfway line because I want my elephant to be big. So I'm going to draw to there, and then I'm going to come down. Then I'm going to draw a rectangle for his head placement. Depending on how big you want his head is how big you'll make your rectangle. Now I'm going to do the same thing I did with the giraffe, but this time I think I'm going to make it a rounded shape. So I'm going to come up and make a big N or a hill. And if you want him to be extra fat, make your hill smaller or shorter. Then for his trunk, this is his head, the rectangle is his head. For his trunk, his elephant trunk, I'm going to come down. This you could do a curve, or you could just make it like a straight shape, because this is all abstract. So get your basic shape of your giraffe and your elephant. You have your basic square, the shape for the leg, their head, and then we'll come back for details. Okay, now we're going to add some African elements to this, some African designs. So one thing we remember about the African art is it has very bright colors and repeated shapes like squares, triangles, repeated lines. So this giraffe has lots of bright colors with repeating lines. And look, it's very abstract. It does not look real. And this elephant has some African design patterns going across. So now you guys get to get creative and add some African designs to your work. So I'm going to add my designs, and you could watch me, and then you guys can get creative and add your own designs. Great job, guys. So you guys should have some cool designs and repeated shapes and patterns on either your elephant or giraffe. And now I'm just going to show you a couple of tips you could do. So for the elephant, since he has a square head, if you want to kind of round his head, use the color you used for the outline. Mine was blue. And with oil pastel, you can go over your shape and make it nice and thick. And then guess what? We're going to cut it. The other thing we could do is round out his face, and you could actually color in with your pastel if you want. You could just keep doing more design work, or you could color in your animal in the different areas that you want by using the side of your pastel or the point. You don't have to color it in. It looks cool with just the black, or you could add more design. So go ahead and either start filling in your shape or add more design so it gets nice and full until you are happy with your design, and then we will cut it out. Great job, guys. Next, we're going to cut out. So just be thinking about your outline. Just cut around the outside shape. And if there's anything you don't like, you could cut it. So if I want to make my elephant head round, I'm just going to cut off that corner. So you could cut into your shape if you need to. I'm going to round out his body. And then we can add more pastel even once it's cut out. So go ahead and cut your outline and go into any parts that you don't like, and we'll go back over it with pastel if we need to. Once you have your animals cut out, now we're going to arrange our drawing. So we're going to take our construction paper, maybe you got green or orange or red, and we're going to do a layout. So first I'm going to lay out my design. Maybe I want it this way, but my elephant doesn't fit that way. So I'm going to do it this way. And I think I'm going to put him over here. And then we get to use some of our scrap paper, and we're going to cut out some fun designs. So maybe we'll do a tree using our paper with basic shapes. Maybe we'll just do some zigzaggy shapes to make it very abstract. So the first thing we're going to do is find a good place, a little off center, and then we're going to glue either our elephant or our giraffe, or maybe you did a different animal. Be careful with the pastel. You just press because it will blend and get on your hands, and that's okay. We could use a wipe. So with my giraffe, since he's so tall, I think I'm going to do mine this way. So lay out your design. So you're going to arrange your elements so they look balanced and symmetrical. The way they relate to each other looks nice and pleasing. So some of you may run into the same problem I have. My giraffe is a little bit too big for my paper. That's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure his head fits. And then I'm actually just going to cut off his back. Sorry, giraffe. No more back for you. But guess what? I'm not going to get rid of that scrap paper. I'm going to use it for something else. So now start coming up with different elements for your background using our scrap paper. You could do a tree, leaves, the palm tree, or maybe abstract shapes. So cut out some of your black paper into some cool shapes, lay it on your paper and decide how you want it to look, and then glue it down. So I hope you guys had fun with putting all of the cool background designs and elements on there with your black paper using geometric shapes, repeated patterns. Now we're gonna add some bright color. You don't have to add the color. You could just leave it with the black if that makes you feel happy. Otherwise, we're gonna add just a little bit of detail. So even though trees are usually green, this is abstract. So I'm gonna add some repeating blue lines in my tree. Maybe I will add some crisscross patterns for my trunk. So now this is a time for you to go ahead and put your last finishing touches on if you want to add some detail to your background. And then when you're done, go ahead and put your name on the back, and hopefully you guys get to look at each other's work. Great job today. Great job, everybody. I hope you guys came out with some really great animals that are nice and simplified, like your giraffe or your elephant. Maybe you even came up with your own animal. So go ahead, and if you can, you could point out each other's, the bright colors you used, the different repeated shapes or patterns, and looking at the negative space. A great job. I hope you guys learned a lot with this series, and we'll see you next time on Art Masters.